Good morning. So welcome to l'Accademia delle Scienze. It's a pleasure to see so many people here. This is the third in a series of 5 summits that we have organised. Our first one was in China 2 months ago. Last month we were in London. And today we're here in Turin. Probably in a very, very beautiful setting, as you've all noticed. I think I should give you a little bit of background to l'Accademia if you don't already know it, but l'Accademia was started, or the society was started back in 1757 when the famous mathematician Lagrange and 2 others formed a scientific society here in Turin. But they didn't move into this building until 1784, which is a long time ago, especially when people that come from Canada. So the building wasn't built specifically for the Accademia. It was actually built and used by the Jesuits for a little while. The room here, it was the main lecture hall. And the most interesting fact is that 3 years after they moved in 1787, they had the ceiling decorated. And if you look up in the ceiling, what you'll see is in each corner, one of the key features is all the sciences of the time are represented. So you have chemistry, physics, biology, natural sciences, which I think is just very apt considering that the main theme today is about STEM, so science, technology, engineering and maths. So that's my little bit of history. There's lots more, there's little booklets, and I'm sure there are lots of people that know a lot more about l'Accademia than I do. But I just thought it's to try and give you a very sort of high-level overview of what the Accademia is. Also, for the physicists amongst you, there is actually an exhibition going on downstairs about the theoretical physicist Tullio Regge, or in English they call him Reggie, but he's actually Reggie. It's free. If you get time, I'd recommend you go and have a look. But the main theme of today is really about sharing experiences about the changing environment within education, especially with the impact of online and digital learning. And what we're trying to do is really share our experiences as an education provider and get lots of people that work within education to share their experiences and learn from their mistakes and best practices. We've got a selection of speakers here today that are going to talk to you about their experiences in many different areas, not just STEM, because the tools that we provide can be used in lots of different areas. So it's going to be very interesting. There's lots of presentations. Everyone will have a chance to actually ask questions at the end of each presentation, but I also encourage you to try and ask people during the breaks. That's the sort of the welcome, the introduction. So I'm going to go straight into a little bit about who we are, Maplesoft, what we do, and how we as a company are addressing the changes that we see within online education. So a lot of the presentations that you'll see later today will actually also cover and reinforce what I'm going to try and really quickly get through. So, I mean, how many of you have heard of Maplesoft or know what we do? So, yeah, John, okay. So Maplesoft, we're a Canadian company. We spun out of the University of Waterloo in the mid-80s. We started off life with one product called Maple. We've since added more products, and our main focus is still education. Yeah? That's our roots, and yes, we sell, and our tools are used by commercial users, but our roots are within education. Just very quickly, there's the 3 main products that we have. Maple is the product that we were born with. It's the foundation of everything else we do. It's a powerful CAS system. It's the most powerful symbolic maths engine that's out there. It's easy to use. It covers lots and lots of functionality in maths. And the key for us is that everything we do, as I say, is built on top of that. About 10 years ago, we introduced a product called Maple TA, Testing and Assessment. So it builds on top of Maple and allows you to test and assess students. It understands maths, so it's intelligent. You can actually do real problems and get feedback and assess students' understanding of not just maths, but other scientific areas. You can also use it for non-scientific as well if you want. Then about 7 years ago, we introduced a product called MapleSim, which started life really more as a commercial tool. It was a joint project with Toyota, the car manufacturer. It's a model, it's a modeling and simulation tool. Again, built on top of Maple, using the power of symbolics to improve the whole modeling and simulation experience. But what we found is it's a great tool in education, in teaching people concepts, yeah? People can go in and understand how things work. And then our most recent product is Mobius, and that's something you'll hear about today. It was officially released at the beginning of this year. It's been in pilot for nearly 18 months. And what Mobius does, it takes Maple, MapleTA, and MapleSim and puts it into one platform so that you have a complete environment for delivering digital courses. But the difference is that with STEM, you need more than just a PDF or a video. You need people to interact. And it's quite unique in that we believe it's the only thing out there that actually allows you to use, to test and assess and deliver STEM courses. And what's driven that is this, yeah? Statement from the Financial Times, education is changing, yeah? Most of you guys here will have probably seen that, not just in the developing world, but in Europe, North America. More and more students are going to university, creates lots of different issues, physical issues in terms of just more space, but also how do you actually deliver courses to so many students effectively? Especially given that students of today are, I guess the term is digital natives, that they're used to working in lots of different ways. So that presents lots of challenges. And at the same time, as I say, you get this, digital learning is increasing. You've got more and more people taking digital courses. Some of them are good, some are not so good. And what we see is that within the STEM area, so the science, technology, engineering, maths, there's actually not many digital courses. Most of the digital courses that are out there focus on business management, computer sciences that tend to be, I suppose, more traditional, yeah? So you can take something in a textbook and deliver it digitally. But as soon as you get to products or subject areas like maths, sciences, where you need some sort of interaction, there's not much there. And the reason there's not much there is because the science, the STEM subjects, maths, engineering, and science, are different. They present a whole load of unique challenges. You're dealing with abstract concepts. You know, people have to understand what they're trying to do. You know, if you need to go into a lab and experiment, you need to understand how to solve a problem. It's not a matter of just reading something and then applying it. You need that hands-on experience. You learn by doing. How do you assess that as well? So how do you actually assess understanding? You know, that raises lots of different issues. And so, you know, online STEM is difficult. It's different. It has different problems. And there's examples of why it's different. You've got formulas. You've got graphs. You've got visualization. You want people to explore things. It's just very, very different and difficult to actually implement, yeah? And what, I guess, the simplest way of trying to show you how this works and the issues that universities that we're dealing with face in terms of the increased number of students, the need to move digitally, is best represented in this case study. So, as I said, we spun out of the University of Waterloo. We still have a very good relationship with the University of Waterloo. Mobius as the product has really come about through the partnership with the University of Waterloo. And this case study here sort of represents why we've come up with Mobius. So, the University of Waterloo is one of the largest STEM universities in Canada. They get 7,000 undergraduate students come through each year, 1,000 graduates, 240 different faculties. They're 34th in the world ranking just of overall universities, but it's the largest collection of mathematicians and computer scientists in the world in one place. What issues does bringing courses online have? Well, there's a whole load of things. Yeah? How do you teach 5,000 students things like differential calculus? With different learning abilities and levels of understanding, yeah? So you can't just have one course for everyone. You get students at different levels. How do you address that? How do you then create all these assets for all these courses? Yeah, they had to create 100 different courses. And what you don't want to do is have to literally start and do 100 different courses one after the other. You want to try and reuse what you can. How do you teach the 26 different calculus courses each term to different audiences? Yeah, all the same things really that I'm saying. So how to collect, the key thing is how then do you collect evidence that these students are actually progressing? The problems they faced were the fact that the way they were at the moment, each prof was doing his own thing, he had his own set of notes, he may have had some sort of YouTube videos, he may have had a book that he referred people to. Everyone's doing different things, so there's very little reuse. Maintaining stuff, yeah, it's hard, yeah, how do you change it? You have to, it's hard work to rechange something, or a book, updating a book is very, very hard. Compliance, yeah, how do you know that you're getting consistent quality? How do you actually ensure that you're getting consistency through what you're teaching? And then interactivity, back to what I was saying, STEM needs a student to engage with what you're doing. So it's great if it's one-on-one, you're in the lab, you've got the experiments, whatever, yeah, you've set them problems and you have the time to spend with one individual. But back to my point, is that students, there's more and more students, classes are getting bigger, how do you deal with all of that? So there's a whole set of problems. And then the other thing that you've got now, everyone's used to working on their mobile, we're used to working on a laptop, tablet, desktop. You've got to be able to work in all those different environments. So it presents lots of interesting challenges. So what we actually, and then the analytics, obviously the most important part of it is measuring progress. So we ended up with Mobius, where we sat down, we took the things that we know, Maple and TA, put them together into one common platform where you can actually create and deploy content in an interactive way that allows you to do continuous assessment. So you're continuously measuring how a student is doing, and you're getting feedback. The student gets feedback. He can actually go and learn at his or her own rate. And as I say, Mobius has really come about as a result of working with the University of Waterloo. I've just got someone pointing up the stop sign at me, so I'll quickly run through. So you'll see more about Mobius as the night goes on or the day goes on. Very quickly, what Mobius is, I'm going to quickly rush through that. It's made up of four parts. The idea is you create some content where you explain the concept. The content is interactive, which allows the students to interact. They can test themselves, they can do the same questions over and over again, but each question is always different every time. And then they can get some feedback, and as themselves or as the instructor, they get feedback of how a student's doing, so you can then focus on the areas that need attention. So what we've done is just put all that together in a very easy, intuitive environment where you can actually address all the issues that Waterloo was struggling with, which is, I can't see, but the reuse, the maintainability, connectivity, etc. So just quickly, the other thing we've done is made sure that it works in the environments that you're used to working in. So it has to work with Blackboard, it has to work with Moodle, it sits within that framework. It can also sit outside, yeah? It doesn't have to be in a VLE. Most people use it within the VLE, it's there. It works with any device. You can access Mobius through a mobile phone, you can access it via a laptop. And it has to be accessible, so we have to more and more be more considerate for people that have visual impairment of some form, audio impairment. So we've tried to make it as accessible as possible. So very quickly, here comes the advert. Why Mobius? Well, it's one platform where you can develop and deploy content for STEM subjects and non-STEM. But the uniqueness is the fact that we understand maths, and therefore we can do a lot of things as a result of that. It's faster in terms of development because you can reuse things. Yeah, you can create one object. Yeah, and you can reuse that in lots of different areas. You don't have to then reinvent the wheel each time. That results in lower maintenance. Students enjoy it because they interact. We know that students learn more when they're actually doing something. And it works within your existing infrastructure. You haven't got to create anything new. You can just take it and plug it into whatever it is that you're doing now. Questions? Do we have time for questions? No. But I'll ignore that. Anyone got any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.